Namaskar. Myself, Dr. Sneh Kumar Mishram. Here I am presenting a paper on this 25th November 2013 7th International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research for Local to Global Innovation theme Future Innovation and Sustainable Development for Asian Countries at Pondicherry, India. Here is my research paper's title J. Krishnamurti's Educational Sustainable Development Model. Myself, Dr. Sneh Kumar Mishram, Assistant Professor and HOD of Department of Sociology, Bharati Vishwavidyalaya, Durg, Chhattisgarh. Here is the introduction. Jiddu Krishnamurti has been quite adamant about the notion that real education is convincible once we start to comprehend the profound value of human life. JK has significantly contributed to the logical thinking and philosophy of education as well known radical thinkers who is well known on a global scale. He was a freelance thinker who, while lacking academic training, left a lasting influenced by criticizing conventional thought in a variety of sectors, including education. He is well liked by both academics and the general public due to his critique of tradition and logic, which includes privilege, customs, and preferences. Review of literature. Uh, Few scholars and writers and academicians have done many their writings and their researches on J. Krishnamurti's educational and other life perspectives subject. Just like Singh has said, dictated, that Jiddu Krishnamurti 1895 to 1986 was a well-known independent thinker, eminent writer, spiritual orator, and one of the greatest philosophers of the 20th century. According to Rajesh Kumar Singh article on Jiddu Krishnamurti philosophy of life education and philosophy or contribution alternative education published in 2020. Rathnam in 2013, he had highlighted the wisdom received through living life to the fullest and the wisdom gained from practices that promote balance between the mind, body, and spirit, implied a phenomenological study to investigate Krishnamurti's understanding of what it means to be a well rounded teacher. Sen and the other eminent scholars have studied on and they have gained their gems views on J. Krishnamurti's work and his educational and other kind of philosophies, which is very helpful to exist a new humanity, a well established humanity which is more prone towards human values rather than personal success and personal achievements. Sen in 2011 made an effort to identify love related concepts in Krishnamurti's teaching. Sharma in 1992 looked into the applicability of Krishnamurti's educational ideas in the modern classroom. Next, we will discuss about educational sustainable development (ESD). ESD integrated fundamental sustainable development themes such as climate change, disaster risk reduction, biodiversity, poverty reduction, and sustainable consumerism into the teaching and learning. ESD requires the student of all ages with the information, abilities, values, and agency. They need to tackle a variety of interconnected global concerns such as changing weather, biodiversity loss, improper use of resources, inequality. Cross curricular connections to education in math, literacy, history, and science can be part of EHD. Acquiring 21st century competences such as creativity and ongoing project based learning cooperative leadership, negotiating, and environmental stewardship skills as aspect of global citizenship. The word ESD used formally by the United Nations, knowledge creation and sharing policy advice, technical assistance and project implementation are all service offered by UNESCO to its member state. Next we discuss on the sociological importance of this topic. So we are discussing about J. Krishnamurti's educational development model, which is based on sustainable development. The goals, practices, and curricula of today's educational institution were sharply criticized by Krishnamurti. He criticized that too and entirely technically emphasis on disdain from human issues in the existing educational system. He regards the delivery of material to students and their preparation for tests at the least intelligent type of instruction. He asserted that knowledge is not a goal in and of itself, but merely a tool for intellectual growth. Similar to Rabindranath Tagore, Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, and other, J. Krishnamurti founded his educational institutions to bring his teaching to life. Krishnamurti was incredibly interested in the schools in India, Brookwood Park in England, and the Oak Grove School in Ojal, California. He said he will write them a letter every 2 weeks, explaining the characteristics of the ideal schools, stressing that they should be continue growing to full person rather than merely being hubs for academic excellence. They want to create an atmosphere free from intimidation, pressure from the authorities, and rivalry so that students and teachers can develop naturally and show off their own talents. After Krishnamurti's death, a few more institutions, such as Sayadri School in the Pune area, were established. He contends that a true teacher not only impacts knowledge of the subject matter with authority but also directs his students towards wisdom and the truth. According to Krishnamurti's communication includes both listening and learning. Knowing how the two different can be really helpful to the teachers. Lesson content is more important than the teacher. To create a new society, each of us need to serve as a true teacher. This suggested that we should take on dual roles of teacher and student. While a child has the capacity for self development, in his view, the teacher's role is to enable the child to realize that of his capacity. So, his selfless approach and model of right education is highly functional for humanity and the global society itself. The objectives of this small research is the objectives are related to his educational sustainable development model is study of Krishnamurti's social reforms about education, and the other one is study of the Krishnamurti's school, the schools of running by the Krishnamurti Foundation Trust all over the world. We also want to study about them, so we can prove that the educational model, the sustainable educational model of Krishnamurti is reliable and it is beneficiary from the our present society and our future society also to create a sane human being which is not part of some creed or some particular nation or some particular race or some particular class, but instead of all that he will be a true global man with no discrimination at all. The hypothesis for this research work is Krishnamurti's educational reforms are functional for the humanity. They are functional for the humanity, so they are beneficial for the humanity. This is our hypothesis. The other hypothesis is Krishnamurti's schools are running successfully for the betterment of the humanity. These are our hypotheses. What the methodology we will use in this study is analytical research method for studying the Krishnamurti's ESD model. And this research work is based on secondary data. Descriptive approach is also used to explain the facts related to Krishnamurti's educational reforms. So let's we ponder upon the Krishnamurti's socio-philosophical perspective on ESD. He explains that the ignorant man is not the unlearned, but he who does not know himself. By knowing himself, he means his true self, which is connected with the nature, not connected with the artificial identification of this society, but his natural true self, which is connected with this nature, with this universe itself. So, the learned man is stupid when he relies on books, on knowledge according to Krishnamurti, and on authority to give himself understanding. Understanding comes only through self knowledge, which is the awareness of one's total psychological process. Thus, education is the true sense in the understanding of oneself, for within each one of us that the whole existence is gathered. What we now call education is a matter of accumulating information and knowledge from books, which anyone can do who can read. Such education offers a subtle form of escape from ourselves, and like all escapes, it inevitably creates increasing misery, conflict, and confusion result from our own wrong relationship with people, things, and ideas. And until we understand the relationship and alter it, mere learning, the gathering of facts, and the acquiring of various skills can only lead us to uh, angfulling, chaos, and destruction. As society is now organized, we send our children to the school to learn some technique by which they can eventually earn a livelihood. We want to make the child first and foremost a specialist, hoping thus give him a secure economic position. But does the cultivation of a technique enable us to understand ourselves? While it is obviously necessary to know how to read and write and to learn engineering or some other profession, will technique give us to especially to understand life? Surely technique is secondary, and if technique is the only thing we are striving for, we are obviously denying what is by far the greater part of life. So these are the philosophical foundation of his educational sustainable development model. So with this kind of perspective and this kind of philosophy and this kind of vision, Krishnamurti has created some very important and some very potential schools for the growth of humanity, for the growth of the child, which is well known the fact that education is very important for his life, but the most important thing is to understand himself or herself and understand the link between the nature and himself or herself. So the self realization is true education, we can say, according to the philosophy and vision of Krishnamurti's vision. So, we can say the most important schools which are established by the Krishnamurti Foundation trusts are Oak Groves School, which is stated in the Ojal, California, USA, the Brookbend Park School, which is stated in Hemisphere, United Kingdom, the Rishabali School, which is stated in Madanpalli, Andhra Pradesh, India, the Besant School, which is stated in Varanasi, UP, the Valley School, which is stated in Bangalore, Karnataka, India, the School of KFI, which is stated in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, the Sahidrai school, which is stated in Pune, Maharashtra, and the Patsala, which is stated in India also. So, in conclusion, we can say that his education philosophy and its echoes in National Education Policy 2020. We can also try to understand in the perspective of new NEP 2020, which were mentioned above, demonstrate that his vision is still relevant and continuous, giving policymakers guidance. The National Education Policy 2020 shared Krishnamurti's goal of fostering a complete and integrated person with the critical and creative thinking skills, sensitivity, kindness, and empathy, having fortitude, resilience, a scientific outlook, true morals, and the other higher order abilities. For education, such a well rounded person like Krishnamurti, National Education Policy 2020 views an integrated curriculum, teachers with a holistic perspective, parental perspective, and a brave learning atmosphere is crucial. The ways in which Krishnamurti's ideas and reflected in National Education Policy 2020 will mark the start of the change in the society and in the psyche of the mankind. So we can say that his education sustainable development model is highly appreciable for the new humanity, for the one global humanity. Thank you.